now we're all set for our next speaker. He is going to talk about Google Ads Performance Max Campaigns 2022. He is an entrepreneur, a digital marketing trainer, consultant, and solutions provider to several local and international e-commerce businesses in the Philippines today. He is a Google Ads and a Google Analytics certified partner and is well-versed in he founded that specializes in providing smart digital marketing solutions to businesses, especially those in e-commerce and those who want to scale their businesses online. Everyone, let's put our hands together for the Chief Marketing Strategies of Bright Strategies, Brian Dominic Padilla. A round of applause, please.
Thank you. How many of you here knows a person who just launched their own website? Can I see your hands, please? Thank you. And how many of you knows a person who owns a business? Can I see your hands, please? Thank you. So the reason that I'm asking is that in every business, in every service provider, there actually only has two goals. How many goals? Thank you. The first goal is always about getting high quality leads. And the second goal is always about getting and acquiring sales. So in every business, those two are the most important factors. Now, with Google Ads, they just launched the new and latest goal intent-based campaign, which is called Performance Max Campaign. Now, with Performance Max Campaign, imagine that in one campaign, you could actually tap into Google properties, which is the Google Search Network, the Display Network, the YouTube channels, Discovery channels, and videos and emails. So the good thing about it is that you don't necessarily need to have a lot of information to upload into Google. All you need to do is you really need to have defined goals, creative assets in place, your merchant center if you have an e-commerce website, your targeting signals, and lastly, your target location. So basically, you're just telling Google that with my campaign as a business owner, as a new website, as a new app, I wanted to use all your properties so that I could target my buying customers. Now, how it works is that we just choose a marketing objective or campaign goal, upload our text, image, and videos, feeds using our Google My Business, Merchant Center, and especially uploading signals to Google using our own existing email list. So imagine if you have like an email list of 1,000, you could just tell Google say, Google, I wanted to target my ads to these people and find similar people who have the same buying pattern with my existing clients. So imagine that you could actually remarket and look for new customers, especially for people who has high purchase value buying patterns. How many of you are excited to do that? Can I see your hands, please? Thank you. So with Google Maps Performance Campaign, when you try to do and launch your first Performance Max-based campaign, basically it will just ask, what are you after for? Are you looking for leads? Are you looking for sales? And of course, if you have a physical store, you always wanted to go to let people visit your shop or your physical store. Now, I think one of the most advantages with Google right now, with Google Ads right now, is that the more defined your goals are, the clearer the AI knows how to look for those new customers. Because basically, by default, Google will actually just upload your goals. Maybe you're acquiring new customers, maybe remarketing to old customers, or maybe you just want your brand to be seen to most people. So the more you tell Google that these people are the ones who visited my site, these are not my priorities, people who visited my contact us page and completely signed up, those are my priorities, and especially for people who bought these particular items. Now, the good thing about, we all know that because of the iOS Apple update, most people are, let's say, I'm looking for the word, are privy about their cache history. Now, what Google did is that they actually created enhanced conversions, meaning every person who visited a website, once you install this new tracking feature, you're actually telling Google when they signed up in their Google account is that when they see your ad and visit your website, you're telling Google that they actually can capture and match this against their data network and data set so that you could actually remarket them moving forward. Now, the challenge is that what if, Brian, if I'm using an iOS phone? So there's actually a loophole that Google actually is also doing that is also part with enhanced conversion. So that's why right now that most people would actually be advertising in Google right now compared to Facebook, because when it comes to tracking customers, Facebook right now has a very weak spot when it comes to that feature. And I think when it comes to budget and bids, the most important part with Google Ads Performance Max-based campaign is this one. Every business knows how much return they are getting when they are profitable on every piece of their advertising spend. So if you're profitable at, let's say, 300% return on ad spend, you could actually just tell your Performance Max-based campaign that I want to let my ads show to people who could get me a ROAS of 300%. And if you're getting leads that you think that might be really cheap, let's say $20 per lead, and you could convert it later on at maybe $1,000 per customer, you could also tell your Performance Max-based campaign on that. And Performance Max-based campaign would only complement your search-based campaign, meaning you need to have an existing campaign so that your Performance Max-based campaign would actually be your enforcer. And the good thing about it is that, since I mentioned earlier that the Performance Max-based campaign is that you could actually tap into multiple Google Ads properties, Google Ads Search, Display, Discovery, Gmail, and YouTube. And the difference is between the Google search is that people buy based on intention. So that's why people are typing where to buy your latest coffee mugs. With Performance Max-based campaign, the advantage is Google is the one looking for new customers based on different signals. And to be honest, no one knows for sure, except from the Google engineers, what those buying signals are, but it's always patterned based on our past behavior across the net. So, how does Performance Max-based campaign would complement your campaigns when it comes to lead generation or e-commerce moving forward? The power of Google is always about automated targeting. Plus, your existing audience signals, meaning your email list, your customer details. Once you combine both, you're letting Google's AI determine who your target customers are. Because right now, when people do advertising, they just put a budget and it's like a shotgun approach. It's not that targeted. And that's why most people would say that advertising right now is kind of expensive, but when you use a target-based campaign, especially with Performance Max-based campaigns, you could actually be really profitable. So which audience segments would actually be considered. So earlier I mentioned remarketing and custom match list, meaning Google would actually look for this email address once you upload them in their data set, in their customer match, meaning Google would actually look for your email addresses and look for these customers. So let's say, for example, by default, most people are already logged in their Chrome account, right? Once you upload these email addresses in Google, in your Google Ad Center, you could actually remarket these people. So basically, every time you go to Shopee, you are a customer with Shopee, Shopee already knows which product, which items you already added to cart, and you did not yet successfully purchase. So every time you go to a different website, go to YouTube, Shopee is actually remarketing and targeting you. Custom audiences, meaning, for example, let's say, for example, like I'm Shopee and I know, and one of my competitors is Lazada. Sometimes it's always best not to reverse engineer. It's not always best to reinvent the wheel. It's always best to reverse engineer what your competitors are. Meaning, I could always target my buying customers of my competitors, so that it's much more easier for them to not poach, but actually let them discover my brand. Google audiences, maybe most people, well, because of Google, they already know who these people who have higher buying intention. And the best practices of all business types, once you run a performance max-based campaign, run at least 6 weeks so that you'll be able to get sufficient data. Create at least 5 different versions of your ads, text, images, videos. Testing different image dimensions, and use as many assets as possible because the more creatives you upload in YouTube, in performance max-based campaign, in discovery ads, in Google search, you're letting the algorithm learn so much who these people are. So I think, especially here in the Philippines, Cebu, it is kind of expensive, to be honest. But in digital marketing, all you need to do is have patience and let the algorithm run on its own, so that you'll be able to get those lead volume, cost per lead, and e-commerce sales, so that you'll be profitable towards your all business goals. So at the end of the day, the more signals you upload to Google, the more it is easier for them to learn, so that it is easier for them to show your ads. Thank you.